Welcome to the Next Level Faith podcast. I'm your host, Julianne Kirkland, best-selling author and life coach for ambitious women of faith. Join me each week to learn more about the strategies, tools, and mindset needed to arise from the overwhelm and create a joyful life you love. To learn how you can work with me further, grab your copy of my best-selling book, Arise and Shine, or check out how you can get your ticket to my next Awake conference or retreat. Head over to juliannekirkland.com. Also, be sure to hit that subscribe button so you never miss an episode, because the best version of you begins on your next level of faith. Hey, welcome back to the Next Level of Faith podcast. I'm your host, Julianne Kirkland, and I am, of course, excited that you are here with me today. I wanted to just drop in your ear and give you such a good word that Instagram actually gave me through Bill Johnson. I don't know who he is. I've never followed him, but he divinely appeared on my Instagram feed, and I just am calling it that because I believe that that's exactly what happened. And there was a reel he did that popped up on my feed, and he's saying to navigate loss well means that you can be trusted with gain. To navigate criticism well means that you can be trusted with praise. To navigate disappointment well means that you can be trusted with fulfillment. To navigate betrayal well means that you can be trusted with loyal friends. The Lord is testing us in all ways, and it's not for the sake of failure or to mock, but the Lord is testing us to see the measure of glory on which we can carry. When God's glory rests on a sanctified life, it establishes it. When that same glory falls on an unsanctified life, it crushes it. And then he goes on to say, the hard seasons that we go through are to prepare us to steward God's blessings and favor well. And that so resonated with me. You know, we always hear like, there's pain, wherever you're in pain, there's going to be a purpose. Your test is your testimony. And those are great one-liners to kind of give you a kick in the pants to get up and go. But looking at the why behind it, for a long time, I thought, oh, God's testing us to fail, right? Like, oh, nope, you're not good enough. Even though I know that that's not true, there are those fleshy moments, those carnality moments where my mind shifts that way. Oh, here I go again, still not good enough to XYZ. I'm still not good enough to steward this favor, when really it's all about the sanctification process. And the purpose of it is not to fail and you're out, right? If you don't pass a test, you get to take the test again. And the test in itself is to reveal things in you that need to be wiped out, that need to be uprooted, so that God can plant what needs to happen and it can be fruitful. Several episodes ago, maybe even last season, I talked a lot about how the light in which we are given to carry can feel very heavy at times. And when he said that God's glory, when it rests upon a sanctified life, it establishes it. And when it rests upon an unsanctified life, it crushes it. I was like, oh, that's that feeling of heaviness. It feels heavy because there is still sanctification that needs to take place. And so that allowed me space to come to terms with the things that I have been feeling that are heavy in my life. It's not that I can't carry it. It's not that I'm not good enough to carry it. It's not that I'm not strong enough of a believer to carry it. There are still things that God needs to uproot in my life for that sanctification process to take place. Because when that glory falls on my life and I've been sanctified in that area, it establishes it. And it's his identity. It's no longer my carnality. And as I am preparing for this TED Talk around identity and the sources of which we go to find our identity, it's been so clear to me how easily we can be pulled to what the world says we should identify ourselves as. And, I was thinking on the way back from Disney World, we just went to Disney World. I ran in the Disney Princess Half Marathon on Sunday this past week. And before that, we took the kids and we went with some friends to Universal Studios for 2 days. And it was such a beautiful time. Last year when we went to Disney over Christmas, and I was like, it's going to be the most magical time. I had set all these expectations on what Christmas at Disney was going to be, and none of it happened. Everybody was sick, and we had to kind of single parent a few kids at Disney while the other parents stayed home with the sicklings, and it was just not anything of what I expected it to be. And so it was so beautiful to experience just full on 2 days of fun and play and joy. Even though, I'm still dealing with the kids, and there was bad moods, and there was tempers, and there was, all the things that happen. There was messes and chaos, all the things that 6 kids can bring about. I was just in a better posture to enjoy it. I think a lot of it had to do with I didn't set expectations on this trip. Just like when I was running in the half marathon, my friend that I was running with, she was like, I hope I'm not slowing you down, because her knee started really hurting around mile 11. And so we had to do more walking. And she was like, oh, I feel so bad. I'm bringing you down. I'm like, I had no expectation of this race except to finish. That was my expectation. Because leading up to the race, we had only ever run 6 miles, and a half marathon is 13.1. So I really had no expectation except to finish. And it brings it all together with what I'm living for. I'm not living for the approval of other people. I'm not living for the validation of other people. God has already validated me. His son did that on the cross. Like, why would I need other people? Like, what could they possibly do that's better than that? What could they possibly give me that's better than that? And reframing my mind and repenting of those old thought patterns and renewing my mind and allowing God to really bring about new revelation, and then responding to it, activating it, not just being like, oh yeah, that's a good word, Lord. Do, 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 do. Getting out there and sharing it. And my mentor has been so great to encourage me to continue to share what you're shown. And I am in turn passing that on to my clients as well, because it shifts the atmosphere. It shifts the posture. It shifts the way you show up in life. God isn't revealing things to you just for you. Sometimes they are just for you. And there is a sweetness to that. And a lot of times it's for other people as well. And they can expand on it and they can share it with others and they can expand on it. But that's what building kingdom is all about here while we're on earth. But this whole race experience, this whole past weekend, this whole identity work that I've been doing, it brought me back to what I'm living for. And that is at the end of my race, at the end of this life, that moment where Jesus puts both of his hands on my face, either side of my face, and says, "Well done, my good and faithful servant." That's what I'm living for. I don't need a pat on the back. I don't need a cool running medal, which it was cool. It was a Moana running medal, and it was really cool. It's really cool. I don't need the super big house, the super fancy cars. I don't need the Chanel and the Versace and the Louboutins. I don't need all of those things to tell me I've made it, to tell me I'm worthy, to tell me I'm established, that I'm approved. I don't need labels. I want to live this life without labels. The only label that I am coming into agreement with is child of God and everything that falls under that umbrella. And that is validated and sanctified and beautiful and a woman of valor and faithful. All of those things, chosen, set apart. I hope that whatever you're doing in your day-to-day, whatever podcasts you choose to listen to, whatever profiles you choose to follow on social media, that they are pointing you to the truth, the standard. I have come to the realization that my standard operating procedure of life is truth. That's the standard I want to set. And I can rise above it and I can live victoriously, but I'm not going to fall below it. I am not going to give in to carnality and to flesh. And I realized, like I swallowed right before I said that, because I realized the severity of that coming out of my mouth, because the enemy can hear it and he can begin to take action against it. But I am declaring a seal of protection over my life in this area because God says that I can. And I want to empower you to do the same, because he is looking for those he can trust. His glory is not heavy. His light is not heavy on the sanctified life, but on the unsanctified life, it crushes it. And so if you're feeling that sense of heaviness in your call, in your purpose, and what you are walking out currently, the vision that he has given you, and you feel, especially in business, if you feel that heaviness of, how am I going to market this? How am I going to show up? How am I going to get sales? What does it need to look like? All of those things that we as entrepreneurs face on the regular. What am I going to do to get lead generation? How am I going to get more people in? Who do I need to be talking to? Who's my ideal avatar, right? Blech. All of those things that we are constantly told we need to be focusing on. I want to encourage you to seek first the kingdom. Because when you seek first the kingdom, all else is given to you. And when we seek everything else first, we lose that and the kingdom. We lose both. Seek first the kingdom. Who does God say that you are? Getting your identity solid is where it starts. Repent, renew, and respond. If there are lies that you've believed, if there are stories that you have come into agreement with of your past, of what other people have told you about yourself, about what personality tests have told you about yourself, take it to the cross. Like, get alone with the Holy Spirit and just allow him to minister to your heart, because there's healing that needs to take place there. God is for you, and he wants you to be sanctified. He has so much favor and blessing to pour upon you. Are you able to receive it? That's the question. It's not if, it's not when, it's are you able to receive it? Are you willing to part with how the world says that you should operate, who the world says that you should be, and seek first the kingdom? That's a question only you can answer. And if you answer, yes, I'm ready, because you want that favor and that blessing, but are you willing to go through the sanctification process to actually receive it? It's hard work, but you can do hard things. As I was running in this half marathon this past weekend, my legs began to hurt, my ankles especially, because again, we had only trained up to 6 miles leading up to this race. And as I was running, I kept replaying what I'm always telling my son, Jack, at swim meets. Push yourself, push your body. It will respond. Tell your body you can do it, and it will respond. And I kept thinking about those moments, and I was like, I have to live that for myself. Can I push my body a little bit further? And I just kept repeating, I can do all things through Christ who strengthens me. And I would allow that strength to build up in my muscles. And although the pain was still there, the perception of the pain had shifted into this, it's not just like an owie, although it hurt. It was this time with the Lord to experience how, even though the flesh may fail, God will never fail me. And it was a physical manifestation of that exact principle. My joints were hurting, my muscles were hurting, my flesh was failing. But God. And when we were going up on a bridge towards the end, and we were hurting, our dogs were barking, we were hurting. And it reminded me of, I had 4 babies at once. Like, are you kidding me? I know my body can do amazing things that I never even thought or imagined would be possible. But God. And as I ran up that bridge, I was like, freaking had quadruplets. I freaking had quadruplets. And like, I just kept pushing. And that's what you have to do sometimes. God has shown you so many ways of which he is faithful.
And when we are in these hard, trying times, we often lose sight of that. We're so focused on the right here, right now, that we forget where he's already shown up faithful. And he is faithful, not just sometimes, all the time. And when you truly are seeking him first, his will above your own, you can be trusted. You can trust yourself that what you are hearing is from him. That what you're hearing is from him. Because I know that you've experienced those times when you're like, maybe I heard him wrong. Is this really you, Lord? I don't know. I need another sign. And then another sign comes and you're like, no, I need another one. Show me something else. And we sink, just like Peter walking on that water. We take our eyes off of Jesus. And he said, come. And we're like, yeah, okay. And then we start to walk on the water and then we're like, look at all this storm around us. Oh no, doesn't make sense. I'm walking on water. Sink. So what if instead we just kept our eyes on Jesus? Let's give it a try. I'm trying it. I'm giving it a go. It's water walking season, baby. Let's do it. It's exciting when you let go of the expectations of other people. When you let go of the labels that the world so desperately wants you to wear. And you focus on what really matters. And you put your energy into seeking him first. And you know that he will supply everything else you need. And if that need isn't being met, you need to question, is it a need or a want? And it's okay to want things, you know? Yeah, I don't need the fancy cars and the great big house and all that stuff. I want a pool in my backyard. I sure do. Do I need it? No. Can I reason the reasons why we should have it? Absolutely. 5 of my 6 kids are swimmers. They all enjoy the pool. It's great health benefits. I could swim in it, and on and on and on I could go. But more than I want it, I want the life, the income that can maintain it. And I'm not there yet. And so I'm not going to continue to strive after this thing that I want when what I should be striving after is what Jesus wants for me. And focus on that and seeking his will. And every single day denying my flesh and carnality. The sanctification process feels hard, but we can do hard things. You can do hard things. There is something that you are facing right now that makes you feel unworthy, not good enough, makes you question if you heard God correctly, brings about confusion and frustration. whatever that thing is for you, that's not from him. Satan is the author of confusion. So take whatever that is right now and lay it at the cross. Say, God, I believe you for more. I believe you for more. It is written that you want super abundantly more, that your ways are higher, that you came to give me an abundant life. And that abundant life is in being the full expression of who he created you to be in every moment, in every area, no matter what. And that's what I really enjoyed about this weekend with my kids, is I released the need to be some kind of way. And I just showed up. If I was tired, I put my feet up. If I was hungry, I ate something. If I was excited, I giggled and danced and jumped around. I wasn't worried about what the people that we were with, I wasn't worried about them judging me or what they were going to think of me, even though this is the first time we had vacationed together, and the old me would have been like, oh no, I need to make sure that, we're only some kind of way. And I did, okay, to be 100% transparent, I did tell my kids to behave. I did say that. And, but I did, I wanted them to behave. And there was moments though, where they didn't, because they were tired and, they've been at a park all day running and playing and just all the emotions and all the butter beer, which is just sugar. It's just loaded with sugar. It was delicious. It did hurt my stomach though. And so getting back to the house and, they're like, it's okay. I didn't yell at them. I didn't get upset. I just allowed it to be. I handled it appropriately. When Myers was playing on the stairs and then he fell down the stairs, I handled it appropriately because I'm still a parent, but I showed up as my authentic version of my parenting self. I didn't pretend to be some kind of other way because other people were watching. And this weekend felt so freeing. And I want every single day to feel that way. When I'm recording a podcast, I want to show up as me. When I am speaking on stage, I want to show up as me. When I'm writing a book, I want to show up as me. When I'm out talking with a friend, I want to show up as me. When I'm mothering my children, I want to show up as me. When I'm the wife to my husband, I want to show up as me. That's living an abundant life. The fullest expression of who God created me to be in every moment, in every way. It's good. It's good to release whatever the expectations that you've put on yourself, be them from your own stories that you've believed and you've created this expectation about yourself, or the expectations that others have put on you. It is very freeing to release that and to show up as who God created you to be. All right, my friends, that is all I have for you today. Remember, when God's glory rests on a sanctified life, it establishes it. When that same glory falls on an unsanctified life, it crushes it. Such a beautiful representation of why things in our life feel so heavy. That's all I have for you today, my friends. remember, the best version of you begins on your next level of faith. Bye for now.